Yo, what up, people? It's AJ the Destroyer here. Today, I'm going to be discussing who is the greatest running back of all time. I went through a couple of running backs here, actually 11 of them, just through all their statistics to see who really is the best running back of all time. So here are the people that I did: Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Shaun Alexander. Okay, this one was kind of special because my brother's a Seahawks fan and he thinks Shaun Alexander's the greatest. I just did that one to show that, maybe he is. Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, Curtis Martin, Marcus Allen, O.J. Simpson, and Eric Dickerson. Now, I did a lot of stats, all pro, their season bests. Obviously yards, touchdowns, yards per attempt, yards per game, yards from scrimmage, and how many games they started and how many times they fumbled. Now, there's different, variants to all of these, different scenarios and times. But I'm going to go through the best of each of these. So, the best for yards in a season, obviously, is Eric Dickerson. He had 2,105 yards rushing. Okay? He also had the most yards from scrimmage with 2,244. O.J. Simpson had 2,243 in only 14 games. That's just to be noticed. Let's see. Touchdowns in a season. My man, LT, he had 28 touchdowns. He had 31 total touchdowns. That's including receiving. That's also a record. Jim Brown had... not Jim Brown. My bad. The most yards per game in a season was by O.J. Simpson, who had 143.1. He only had a 14-game season. That's why he doesn't have the record. Okay? So that's it for the season best. Now we're going to go to career stats. Everybody knows Emmitt Smith has all of them. He has 18,355 rushing yards in his career, 162 touchdowns, and 175 total touchdowns. He owns all those. That's the top. That's the record right there. Now, yards per attempt. Jim Brown, 5.2 yards per attempt. You just give him the ball, first down all day. He was great. He was amazing. Yards per game. He owns that, 104.3. Okay? Yards from scrimmage. Obviously, it's not Emmitt Smith. It is actually, hold on, give me a second here. It's actually Walter Payton with 21,264 yards from scrimmage. Okay? And who had the least amount of fumbles, you may ask? Curtis Martin with 29 fumbles. And he started 166 games. That's kind of the median, is 160, 165 games started. Now, who is the greatest? I did a lot of research here in all these great guys. These are the best running backs of all time. By the way, Shaun Alexander, the one I mentioned earlier, he wasn't that great. Another note. Jim Brown had the most MVPs with 3. The only person that didn't have an MVP on the whole list was Curtis Martin and Eric Dickerson. Those were the only two that didn't get an MVP. But Jim Brown had 3 of them, and 8 times All-Pro, which is the most by anyone. Second most is Barry Sanders with 6. Okay, so who's the best? It's very obvious to me. It's Jim Brown. Jim Brown was fantastic. I mean, yeah, it's a different era. They didn't throw the ball. He still got it done. He was running through everybody. 5.2 yards attempt. Just give him the ball and you're getting first downs all day. He ran through you, 104 rushing yards per game. He was a god. Okay, but there is one guy who comes close, and that's Walter Payton. In a 14-game season, he had 1,852 yards. That's pretty impressive. Give him 2 more games, he's going to get 2,000, and maybe more touchdowns. He was a GOAT. He's definitely number 2. But really, right behind him, I would have to go with Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, if you ever watched film, I watched a lot of film on all these guys. Barry Sanders is so elusive. He's so great when he runs the ball. It's a shame that he was with the Lions. He would have probably won a Super Bowl. A lot of these guys do have Super Bowls, except for LT. That's my man right there. He's probably the best receiving back besides Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk is a god at that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The answer's got to be Jim Brown. I know some of your Cowboys fans are probably like, oh, what about Emmitt Smith? He has all the record. The dude played a lot longer. 219 games started. That is astronomical compared to all these guys here. Shaun Alexander, he does have 100 touchdowns in less than 100 games started, which is, I think, pretty impressive. Shaun Alexander, for all you bandwagon Seahawks fans, he was the running back in 2006. He set the record. He's on the cover of Madden 07, if you didn't know. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Don't sleep on O.J. Simpson. 2,000 yards in 14 games. That's pretty impressive. Just wanted to let that be known. I was thinking about putting Adrian Peterson on this list, but I feel like it's kind of too early for that. But, yeah. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is the greatest of all time. And let me know if I should do any more of these lists. I was thinking about doing the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Well, top quarterbacks of all time. I mean, I don't know who's going to be on this list, maybe. But I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.